What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry I'm a little hoarse today. Well, my sinuses aren't to the top notch, but that's okay. I got a lot of projects. I'm pretty swamped in here right now, which is a good thing. It's a blessing, honestly. But today we're going to be making some cornhole boards the way I make them. Other people probably make them like this. They're pretty simple, but this is just a big country way. We got vinyl ordered and on the way. Hopefully they're here on time. The client wants them in a week, or at the end of this week, from today when I'm recording this. But the people haven't seen shipped the vinyl yet. So anyways, stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoy this build. Thanks for hanging out. So for this project, we're going to be using 3 10-foot long 2x4s. I'm praying that's enough because those ain't cheap. And then I thought it was oak plywood when I bought it. That's where it was on the Lowe's rack. But it's premium white face. I think it's pine, but it's still really hard and won't flex too much, so it still should be just fine. So first thing we're gonna do is cut these down to a rough size before I put my miters on them so that we can run them through the planer, or join them and then plane them, and get them really square, because I got the straightest ones I could, but it took me about 20 minutes going through their 2x4 rack before I could find some decent ones. So all right, let's get to it. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna square off this end real nice, get the rough off of it, check for staples before you do that. And what we're gonna do after that in time lapse is cut like 2.5 foot long pieces, and that way I can have extra to get the miters through there, but I can get the board nice and square with the joiner and the planer. So we're gonna cut 2.5 foot pieces and some 4 foot pieces, probably 4.5 foot pieces, just so I have that 3 inches on each side to play with to do my miters. So let's get to it. All right, I got all my parts cut out. I'm really hoping this is gonna be long enough for a leg, but it should be. I gotta take this giant staple out of it. But for my second cut, I made it longer just in case. At the end of the day, if I have to, I can cut a leg out of a 2x10. Don't really want to do that because they're a lot wetter than these, so it may move more once these are all set and done. So next, let's get joining them and get a flat side to have a flat surface to run through the planer. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna join one face side and then use that face side to go against the 90 here, and join the other side to get it nice and flat for the table saw. All the joining done, then a nice flat face, and a nice 45 here, or sorry, 90 degree there. And the other side will be cut with the table saw, and the unfinished side right here will go through the planer. So let's get the planing some pine. Planer all set up. If you guys hadn't seen a video on this, I got it down in my other videos. This is my planer sled that it's the quickest and easy way to minimize snipe. It doesn't always completely eliminate snipe, but let me tell you, it really beats building like a planer block box and like having super level, screw all that. Get your piece of MDF, nail you a couple stop blocks so it don't go through, and she just stays right in there. So check that video out. Yeah, about to run all this through the planer. See y'all in time lapse. All right, so we got everything nice and squared up. Now we're about to take this side off that we didn't join. And I think my final width is gonna be exactly 3 inches. So let's get to chopping. All right, so we're gonna be cutting a groove in here that this board is gonna sit in. So in order to do it correctly, I'm gonna go ahead and mark. I set out all my rough cut lumber. Now that it's all square and beautiful, I'm gonna be marking the inside of everything just so I know I'm cutting on the right side. And I'll do that for the other one as well. And then we will adjust our blade height, make some cuts. What you want to do next is take your plywood and line your blade. You see the teeth? Line them up with the plywood that you're going to use for the rabbet joint that we're about to cut to inset these into the base. I like to do this, especially with this vinyl top that's going to go on these boards. It will keep the plywood exterior from being exposed to elements, because when plywood gets wet, it falls apart. So, and they ain't gonna make no janky cornhole board either, you know what I mean? All right, so I got her set up 3/4 inch space here, and then we're gonna be cutting our plywood depth here, and then we'll go back and clean it up. Cut. Let's check the fit. That's exactly what we were looking for. Nice and flush along the top, down into the piece. That's gonna be beautiful. So what I'm gonna have to do, and hopefully I don't repeat myself later, don't mind all the trash, shop trash bag, packing stuff for shipping flags, and recent boxes I got from Amazon. Just clear in the air. All right, so what I'm gonna do is cut these down to 2 feet, since a cornhole board, regulation cornhole board, is 2 foot, sorry about that, 2 foot by 4 foot. And once I cut those down, I'll put the boxes together and then measure the space, width and length of what I need to cut my plywood to, and it should just pop right down on in there. So let's get to cutting the rest of these out, since that worked like a charm. Okay, if there's one thing in woodworking that I hate doing, and it may seem silly, but honestly, I hate cutting miters, because somehow I always mess up. And I only have enough 2x4s for this project, so say a little prayer for me right now, and I'll see if we can make it to the end of this video without messing up. I haven't messed up so far, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these miters cut. So a little tip real quick, if you guys are ever cutting miters and you're cutting multiples, use a chop off or a cut off for a stop block, because when I slide this up in here, it stops and it ain't gonna move nowhere, and you won't damage the end of sharp point on your board. So, little tip, let's go hook. Oh, a little mock-up. I'm liking what I'm seeing everywhere. My assembly table ain't flat worth junk, so I'm gonna be putting them together on the cast iron table saw. But for this, since I might make more of these in the future, I bought a strap clamp. Comes with 4 little things, goes on 4 corners. You pull it together, pull your project tight, and then I'm gonna put screws in around it. So it's pretty cool. I might throw a couple brads in there, hold it in place, and then screw it, but we'll see how it goes. Off camera, I went ahead and 220 sanded all the interior. Got all my pencil marks off and smoothed them out real good. And I also marked screw holes, screw points where I'm gonna screw, so that I can pilot hole them when the strap clamp is on. So let's get the strap clamp put on. All right, so this thing's looking pretty cool. The strap clamp is nice. I wish I had 2 of them now. I'd just go ahead and do the other one. Let the glue set up just a little bit more, but you can see it holds the miters nice and tight. Everything is lined up. The rabbet looks good, even over there. So what I was able to do was push these down a little bit, and it gives me room to go ahead and do the top screw all the way around, and then I will then slide them up and do the bottom screw all the way around. So yeah, that's exciting. Enjoy this screw footage, I guess, but I'm gonna do this other one all the way off camera because there's no reason for you to watch me do the same thing twice. Now that we have our 2 identical pieces put together, and when I say I'm good, I mean I'm good. So now that we got our 2 identical pieces put together, even though they are technically identical, there's most likely some sort of movement in some pine after I jointed it between that time and getting to the table saw to cut these grooves. So that being said, I am going to measure each one individually and cut out each one individual, not like the same exact measurements, you know, and just cut it twice. But so I'm about to measure in between here, rip it, and then measure the length, rip it for each one. So let's get to it. All right, so I'm having to like reverse cut these and just take some off of like this, which isn't the best way to do it. I've cut a couple test strips and then added a few more, and I think I'm ready to cut, but we'll see. I was gonna use my skill saw, but I think this is gonna be easier and more square, but I don't really recommend doing this because it kind of can be, well, dangerous. You know, do it wrong, and then also you have a lot of meat flying out over here like this, so not recommended by me at all, but I'm just going to try to keep it straight and not push into the blade and hope for the best. My dust collection ain't on, but I don't really care because I'm ready to go. thinking. I just threw it up on my giant crosscut sled. Got the job done. This thing is flusher than all get out. When you push it down, I think it's gonna work out really, really nice. I'm gonna clamp it to get all these snug. But now the only thing I can do for the rest of the day is, excuse me, I'm gonna get these tacked down onto the top, drill the holes for the board itself, and then round it with a router. What else can I do? I'll probably cut the legs to size. I don't have the carriage bolts yet. I'm gonna have to go get them. But yeah, and then that wraps these up until the vinyl comes in, and then yeah. Got that all knocked out. Thing looks nice. Everything's pretty flush. I sand down a few little edges that are popping up. Just very minimal. But it's gonna look really good when we get the vinyl on there. So I'm about to drill the holes. I got a big old hammer drill to do it with. You don't put it in hammer mode. That's just what it is. And clamp your material down if you're gonna go to drill these holes, because it'll about break your arm. So you know it'll sling your material if it's not clamped down. But I'm gonna be using a 6-inch hole saw. I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna put a little round over on the inside of the hole, and that's that. Probably sand after. Got my holes marked. They're gonna be 9 inches from the top and 12 inches on center, because this is 2 feet across. So that's where you're gonna go. So I'm gonna put a little pilot hole here, probably the same one I used to pre-drill with, and then bring in the hole saw, and hopefully not break a wrist. Alright, I already got my pilot hole drilled. This is my setup. DeWalt DCD 998 6-inch hole saw. So I think I'm gonna try to run it pretty quick, maybe 3-speed. Actually, I'm gonna knock it down to 2-speed. It'll help it get started, I believe. I don't drill many of these. But I hate hole sawing, I'll tell you that. Woo, see, I'm telling you, you gotta have this stuff clamped down. I think this drill has an automatic clutch thing that will stop the drill if it feels like it's gonna bind up, which will probably save a wrist or two. But I mean, that's a big chunk of wood to cut out all at once, and that drill does it no problem. So shout out to the Power Detect DeWalt drill. I love that thing. Let's route these. Got them all sanded down. This XR brushless cordless sander is a monster, just letting you guys know. Prepping them for paint. I'm gonna go ahead tonight and paint these sides and maybe the bottoms, depending on how fast the paint dries. And then tomorrow I'll come back and tape off the sides and put my polyacrylic on the top that's gonna prep the top surface for vinyl. Got everything covered in plastic that I don't want paint to get on. So let us paint. Got the tape off and she looks good. It's the next day. I'm currently sick, so I'm not going to work on them today. Waiting on that vinyl. What I'm going to do probably tomorrow morning, if I'm feeling any better, is cut the legs to size, get those painted, and put tape the black and put a top coat on the top. That way I don't have any polyacrylic run onto the black, because I already off camera sprayed the sides with poly, so it's already done. All I got to do is poly the top, lay the vinyl, poly the vinyl, and these will be done after I put the legs on. But not too worried about the legs messing up the paint, because it'll all be covered by the little hole. I'm gonna drill a small pilot hole and start the hole from each side. That way it doesn't have a big rip out. I'll show you that when we get there. But anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, I'm gonna try to speed all this up. The last part of it's gonna be a lot of time lapse, because I don't want this video to be like 30-35 minutes long. So anyways, right now I'm working on the legs. Got a little circle drawn to give some relief when it turns. These don't look very thick. They're not, because there's not a lot of play. I'll show you. It sits just under, I don't know if you can even see that. Let me see if I can, there we go. It sits just under. So anyways, that was a bad angle, whatever. I'm gonna time lapse you guys, me shaping these things up, and let's get to it. Well, I got super mad off camera. Little update. So I did something stupid. I've been sick. I don't know if you can tell it. I think I even mentioned it, but a little scatterbrained, and I didn't measure my thing with this being square. I just went ahead and rounded edges, and these are off, these two, by a substantial amount for some reason. So I made a little 1/4-inch spacers gonna go in there and line them up. The other side though, I re-rounded the other sides after I drilled my holes. So these line up perfect. Ta-ta. So don't do what I did, and you can even see that these are going to be a little different than those, but as long as each board is the same, it's all right. So yeah, I'm gonna take these out, or I'm about to size up the legs, mark the line, and cut them. All right, I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna do the other one off camera. It's actually pretty nice. These should be, and I hope I don't shoot myself in the foot here. Should be 12 off the table, basically. And you can't really see it, but, well, yeah, you can if I'm like this. 12 inches off. So, to spec. But I'm gonna do the other one off camera, and I'll get back to you guys in a time lapse of me coating this and getting it prepped for the vinyl. quick update. Working on these legs. I CA glued a piece of wood in there and kept taking out some of my chisel until my angle was right. So now I just got to put a little paint on it with a brush or something. Now everything looks pretty good. These all line up with those over there. So I'm back happy again. I was extremely upset, but back in business. All right, guys, I know this video is getting lengthy and I apologize if you're still with me. Thank you so much. That means you like my content, like the video. I just wanted to show you guys a little tape trick real quick. I know I'm taping a lot and I'll explain that later as to why I do tape so much. But when you want a perfect tape line on your edge, tape it up high. Don't try to line it up. And then just take your razor blade. That way you can literally hold it, and of course it messes up while I'm filming. But then you just hold it and run your razor blade on your edge. Get a nice, clean tape line. So I guess I can go ahead and dive into why I'm taping so much. I am taping the sides of these things because I already finished the sides with spray polyurethane, and I'm going to be putting water-based polyacrylic protective finish on this here, and then I'm also going to put it on top of the vinyl. And I didn't want any rolls, so I don't want it to roll down the side while I'm applying it. So this tape is going to prevent that. And also, when I'm cutting the vinyl clean, it'll help protect the side of the board with from the razor blade when I'm cutting it along the edges to make it clean, nice and clean. So that's why I'm taping so much. I kind of overdo things. I think a lot of the things in this video could be done quicker and be done better, but I charge a lot of money. Yeah, I'll let you guys see me. I charge a lot of money for cornhole boards because I strive to make them perfect in every way. That's why I tape everything, and I honestly don't care to make them. This is the second set I've ever done. They're really easy, but they're just time consuming for me, and I could be doing a whole lot of other things, and I make more profit on other projects because people will only pay so much for a cornhole board. This set right here will be was sold for $318. So that includes the vinyl, the bags, and the boards. And with wood, I'm only getting about $100 in profit off of these, and these things take forever. So yeah, I really hope they enjoy it because I hate making them. But thanks for sticking around this long. If you have, make lumber cheap again. Shout out to John Malecki. I love your videos. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna tape the rest of the sides. I'm gonna get a time lapse of me putting polyacrylic on, and yeah, another tape trick too. If you don't want runoff, I've already done it over here. Don't let this hang right here so it doesn't get on the bottom. It'll just drip off. Oh, I have a terrible camera angle. It'll just drip off if you leave the tape hanging. Don't push it up. So another tape trick. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. Catch you on in a minute. And that's why I tape. If anything does get on the finish I already have on there, it should be okay because it's oil based and this is water based, so this should just kind of peel off. I think what I'm gonna do is wait 2 hours, give it a light sanding, and then do another coat. I'm not gonna film that because I don't want to bore you guys to death. So next time you see me, will be me putting the vinyl on the tops. See you then. The vinyl is finally here, and I almost forgot to record because I was so anxious to get it on these boards because I want them out of my shop. Anyways, let me time lapse this, putting this vinyl on. What I do personally is I line them up, which this is from Custom Cornhole. I don't recommend it because they're all wonky sizes. It's just harder to line up in my opinion. I had to cut one side flat with the line so I knew where I was hitting up here.
But I line it all up there where I'm gonna start, and then I tape the back flat. So what I did is peeled this back and I cut off what was under it. So all I'm gonna do is pick this up, pull it tight, and lay it down, and then start working my way back yonder. So let's get to it. Super late, it's like 11 o'clock, but I finally got the second coat on the boards. I'll see you guys when we got the finished product. So see you tomorrow. Well guys, there you have it. That's how you make a high dollar set of cornhole boards. In my opinion, these are worth every penny. They're actually pretty light too. And you don't have any bounce on the bags, really. Oh, I'm so good. Honestly, this is the first take, and I didn't do that on purpose. So, thanks for watching, as always. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. Big Country out.